My dad purchased 120 acres, and it's in northeast Arkansas. It's up in the Ozarks. We just purchased it within the last, I think, about 9 months ago. We were deer hunting back October the 29th. It was right before Halloween. And then we had there was a private gun hunt, private land, and I get on my deer stand long before the sun comes up. Me and my dad, we've always done that. He didn't go with me this time. He had overslept, and I heard something out in front of me in the dark. Still hadn't gotten daylight yet, and it sounded like a raccoon or something coming down the tree. You could hear the bark. You could hear scratching on the bark. That's the weird thing about it is I personally believe this thing was in the tree. It came down out of the tree. There was a cedar tree about 35 yards straight out in front of my deer stand, and it's huge. It's bigger than most cedar trees. Most of those cedar trees have been cut over. But I still hadn't seen anything. This is probably 30 minutes before it even gets daylight. Well, I start hearing not a whoop, more of a, it was a whoop, but I don't know how to explain it really. But something was whooping back. And I personally thought it was some guys on some land over close to us, trying to holler back and forth at each other. But it gets daylight, and I keep seeing something moving, but I can't make it out. There's a lot of, like I said, there's cedar trees everywhere. Finally, I see an arm come out from behind the cedar tree, and it's a hand. The hand touches the front of the cedar tree. I start to freak out because there's a few black bears in the area, but I've only seen one. I'm 31 years old, and I've only seen one in my life. And I didn't really know what to do. I was just sitting there, and I was going to get my phone out and try to call my dad. Then I start getting this grunt, and I can hear something off to my left getting closer. This has to be somebody messing with me. I keep looking, and finally it gets really good and light enough that I can tell that this arm is entirely too high off the ground for it to be anybody messing with me in a suit or anything like that. And I'm just in shock. I don't know. I'm just not expecting it. Nobody expects to see anything like this. It finally peeks out around the tree. I almost dropped my rifle. The shoulders were I'm a large man myself. I'm 6'3", 6'4", about 275. I'm a big man. And I didn't think that there was any way that gun that I had would even, and it was 7 mags. Those things will shoot as far as you want to shoot and will take down anything. I didn't think I had a chance at taking this thing down. So I raised my rifle, looked through the scope, and when I do, that's when this god awful scream comes out. I don't know how to explain. You could feel it in your chest. It vibrated. It vibrated my chest. I'm terrified. Then it starts making these, I don't know how to explain it besides kind of a monkey sound, but it was staying behind this cedar tree. I'm sure you've seen plenty of cedar trees.
Yeah,
they're huge and bushy. I never really got a great look at the face, but the legs on it, I could see the legs perfect, especially the left leg. And like I said, the left arm, the hand was around. I didn't know what to do. Like I said, we started making these sounds, and something off to my left starts making sounds back to it. And by this point, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was probably gonna die. So I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry. I'm just
no, it's
like
normal.
I said, I've never told anybody before. There's no way if I try to do anything, it's going to get me. It's too big. I played football. I know how fast things can move, and there's something this size, there's no telling how fast it could have been on top of me. I'm talking 35 yards at the most. So this stare down goes on for 25 minutes at least. And I finally see the other one, just a blur off to my left. You could hear it coming up through a creek bottom. And I'm guessing this one was getting, the whole communication, I'm guessing it was getting it to come in from off, like I said, to my left, kind of behind me. I didn't know what to do. So I keep sitting there, and every time I moved, it would move back behind the cedar tree a little bit, and then it would come back out, move, come back out. So, like I said, I pulled my gun up finally, and that's when it screamed that it was the most god awful, the scariest scream I've ever heard in my life. I mean, just guttural scream. So at this point, I'm thinking, I'm kind of in a fight or flight mode. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to figure out if I can kill this thing. If I can, there's no way I'm getting off this stand. It's a 16-foot ladder stand. It's going to take 30 seconds to get down a stand without breaking your neck. This thing could be on me in 2 seconds if it wanted to be. I go ahead and pull my gun up, and I'm looking. I want to see the face. And all I seen was the left half of the face, part of the nose. The eyes were, they felt like they were just staring through me, the left eye. There was some white. It was a big, huge black eye, but there was a little bit of white around it. I was shaking so bad. You hunt, obviously. Buck fever has nothing on it when you're scared to death and you think you're going to die. I mean, so I thought I've got to do something. I have to do something. Well, my phone vibrates, so I'm going to try to get my phone out. I'm keeping the gun with my right hand up, and I'm trying to get my phone with my left hand. This thing jumps from that cedar tree to another, and it's probably a good 8-10 foot distance to the other tree. And it just a hop, and it was behind it, and I couldn't see anything at first. The other one's over here making racket, and I'm just freaking out. I drop my phone, and when my phone falls, I don't know if it broke up, if it had a piece of wood in its hand, a stick, what, but something just snaps horribly loud when my phone hits the ground. So I'm thinking, hey, it's fixing to get me. Well, it's not coming out from behind the tree again. But it's there. There's it can't get out of my sight. I wouldn't be able to see it clearly if it took off, but I would be able to see it. It's still behind this tree. But I'm wondering if it hadn't tried to climb up the back of this tree, because I truly believe that thing was in that cedar tree when I got on my stand, because it had to have come down that tree. You've heard squirrels or raccoons go up or down a tree the way the bark crackles.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's what I was hearing for 5 minutes before it got to the ground. And it wasn't a raccoon. It was that tree. I couldn't see it. Like I said, it was dark at the time, but I believe it was in that tree. So I go ahead and pull my gun up, and I'm just waiting for a shot, but I'm scared to try to take a shot to the chest or the head, because if I miss, I don't know what's going to happen. My thought was, hey, anytime you hear anybody talk about getting in a fight, even the biggest man in the world, you hit him in the knee, they'll go down. So that's my thinking. And it finally tries to peek around the tree again, and I start to see the left foot, and that was the biggest foot I've ever seen in my life. And the left knee comes out from behind the tree, and I put the scope right above the knee, and I fired.